Hey friends, it's Hope, and today I am here to do a book-to-movie adaptation over The Martian by Andy Weir. Now, I read this at the beginning of September, and I absolutely adored it. And if you guys are wanting to see my non-spoiler feelings and the review over that, I'm going to link that video down below. Definitely go check it out if you're interested. So because I loved the book so much, naturally I was super excited to see the movie, and it came out this weekend. And there was a lot of hype and a lot of excitement inside of me. So of course my expectations were set really high, and I cannot wait to tell you guys what I thought of the movie. So first, starting off, I thought that the movie was actually really well done. It was so awesome to see the technology brought to life. You know, when you're reading about these sciencey things in a book, and if you're not a sciencey person, which I'm not, your imagination really runs wild, and sometimes there are gaps in imagining and picturing what certain things look like and what exactly they do. So I thought the movie did a great job at allowing us to visualize every single aspect within the story, and the technology, like I said, was just really amazing and very cool. I thought the cast of characters were also very unique, and they stayed very true to the story, and I enjoyed each and every one of them. In the movie, I appreciated everybody, and everybody played their part. I didn't feel like any of them were dull or out of place, and so the casting I thought was really well done. I also thought the story of survival and overcoming adversity was also done really well in this movie. This movie definitely had a lot more of that serious tone, more of that dramatic life or death tone, I thought, than the book ended up having. One thing that I was really disappointed with the movie was when I was reading the book, I was cracking up pretty much through the entire book, and that was so unexpected because you know that this story is very much a survival, life and death type of story. In the movie, they translated that into a kind of a doom and gloom. Mark has to do this, we have to do this, or else, you know, failure is a big option here. So I definitely think that the movie was a little bit more dramatic in the fact that it was more doom and gloom than within the book. Yes, it was doom and gloom, but it was also very humorous. I was wondering how they were going to translate Mark's journals into the movie, and I thought that they did a great job with having him videotape himself and do like video journals. I thought that was really, really well done. I love the narration even when they were doing like the little I am chats to Mission Control. And I also love the fact that they kept Mark kind of like a singular person. And what I mean by that is a lot of the astronauts on Ares 4 has families back at home, and that was portrayed throughout the story, a lot more so in the book than the movie. But Mark was a little bit more of like a loner, and yes, he did have parents, but his family wasn't like the main focus of this. While Mark loved his family and was going to miss never seeing them again, Mark was truly by himself, and he didn't have a wife, and he didn't have kids. He didn't have a girlfriend back at home waiting for him, and so his survival and his instinct to survive was truly based on himself. And I thought that that was actually really powerful because he wasn't trying to survive for anybody else. And I really appreciated that while reading the book, that he was trying to survive and do all these things for himself and for pretty much the good of mankind, because he's out there for a bigger purpose. In the movie trailers, Trina actually pointed out that it looked like that they were going to give him more of a connection with a family, and I wasn't too sure how I felt about that. In some ways, I was like, oh good, Mark's gonna actually have somebody to go home for and to like fight for. But then on the other hand, what I really loved about the book was he was there fighting for himself. Of course, with any book-to-movie adaptation, there are going to be some changes that are made, and the changes that were made were, for the most part, I think really well done. They did change how the story started off. Still the same premise, but we actually got to see what went wrong with his crew instead of Mark waking up and yelling out expletives when he realizes that he's on Mars all by himself. Of course, the ending, they did change a little bit too. They actually added on a chunk to the end, and while I thought that maybe it would help some people have like this conclusion and finality of what all went down, personally, from a reader standpoint, I adored how the book ended, and I just really thought that there wasn't any need to explain expand on anything. I would say the biggest thing that I loved about the movie was there was still a lot of suspense and the camaraderie was still very prevalent. One of the main reasons why I loved the book so much was because you really got to see everybody pull together as a nation and as the mission control and as the crew. Like, everybody wanted to bring Mark Watney home and they wanted to save him, and I love that camaraderie feel. And even though I read the book, there was still a lot of suspense. I remember towards the end I was digging my fingers into my sides. I was like hugging myself because you just never know if they're going to change some things, and I was picking up that they were changing some things, so I was still really nervous and the suspense was really great. Of course, the downside that I found to the movie adaptation is they took out a lot of the humor. I mean, one of my favorite parts of the book was when they told Mark to censor himself because the whole world can see what he types, and he types this word and puts a little emoticons by the side of it, and that was hilarious. And they took some of that out. Like, they made him seem like he was just like cussing up a storm, but really he wasn't cussing. And in the book, when things started to go wrong, like, Mark's coping mechanism was his humor, and while that translated a little bit into the movie, most of it I thought was left out, which, like I said at the beginning, made the movie a little bit more dramatic and more of that doom and gloom as a reality, where in the book he just kind of fluffed it off with a joke. Not that Mark didn't realize this was really bad, the situation's not ideal. I just thought his humor in the book was so well done, and it kind of got lost in translation a little bit when it came to the movie. With all of that said, I think everybody in the theater that I was in really enjoyed the movie. There was over like 300 people in that theater. My husband, who is very critical about movies, I think he really enjoyed it too. I did enjoy the movie, but like I said before I watched the movie, I honestly thought reading the book was probably the best option, and I still feel that way too. I understand if people aren't interested in the book, but after reading the book and seeing the movie, I thought the book was so much better. I mean, I rated the book a 5 out of 5 stars. I would probably rate the movie a 4 out of 5 stars. I was really just wanting more of that humor element, and I wish that they had more scenes where Mark was actually talking to his fellow astronauts and Ares 4 crew, because I felt like that really brought the emotions up so much in the book, and I felt like that was also missing in the movie. So I wanted more of those like emotional, hilarious scenes with his crewmates, and I wanted more humor, but I know that there are liberties to be made when making movies. So overall, I thought the movie was really well done. I'm interested to see if it does win any awards. And if you guys aren't interested in reading the book, I definitely suggest you guys going and seeing the movie. I think it is well worth the money you pay and the time that you sit in the movie. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm very interested to see your guys' thoughts. If you have read the book and you go and see the movie, what did you like about the changes? What didn't you like? Or did you think that it was a perfect book to movie adaptation? I will say that this is one of the best book to movie adaptations I've ever seen. Overall, I'm a very happy camper. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'm sure I will see you soon. Bye.